Today we will learn method or function in Java, but I will explain you the concept in reverse order. First, we will understand why we need this, then we understand when we need this, and if you understand why and when, then you will easily understand what is actually function and method, and finally we will go for how to implement it. So first we will check why we need this. So let's say in a company there are three employees. One is called Mark, then John, and then Thomas. And Mark's salary is something like 60,000 per month. John's salary is 30,000 per month and Thomas 45,000 per month. Now let's say you got a challenge to create a program. What is the per day income? So how you can do that? So you take the salary of Mark first, then calculate this logic like per day salary is equal to monthly salary by 30. Then you display or print Mark's salary, right? Similar way, you take the input from John, then calculate this one and finally display the per day salary for John. And same thing for Thomas, take the input, calculate and display. So you can see here that we are doing the same task multiple time for these three resources, right? And all are same thing. Take input, calculate, display. Take input, calculate, display. Take input, calculate, display. But this is not the correct way, right? You are doing the same tasks for Mark, John and Thomas. So here our when questions come. So always remember, as a good developer, when you get a problem, don't jump to the code base directly. First try to understand, is there any common part that you can separate in a block of code and try to reuse that one. So for our case, we can create a block of code like taking input, then calculate the per day salary and finally display the per day salary. And to taking input, we are simply passing Mark's monthly salary to this block of code, then John monthly salary to this block of code and pass the Thomas monthly salary to this code. And this block of code is basically responsible to take the input, then calculate the per day salary and display the per day salary. So you can see for these three employees, we are simply reuse the same block of code. So if you have the 100 of employee, you have to calculate the same thing. So you just simply use a single block of code and reuse that multiple time. Now if you understand this why and when, then it is easy for you to understand what is actually method or function in Java. So this is basically the definition of method or function in Java. So a method or function is a block of code. So we are doing the same thing. This is a block of code for ourselves where we are performing some task, that is taking input, then calculate the per day salary and display the salary. Now the second is that it is used to perform certain actions. Yes, we are doing some actions to calculate the per day salary, right? Now third, it's only run when it is called. So that's mean we are passing and calling this block of code for Mark, then it will display Mark salary. Then we are passing some monthly salary in this block of code and it will display John salary, and finally the same thing for Thomas, right? And the fourth step is that we can pass data into a method which is called a parameter. For our case, we are actually passing monthly salary. Each case you can see monthly salaries. This is basically a parameter of this block of code, that is basically taking the input from different resource, and then we can reuse this block of code and finally execute the result. So this is the simple definitions of method or functions in Java, and then it's come how to implement it. So let's implement it with the same example in Eclipse in our next class.
I believe this video has helped you to understand about the topic. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, click on the bell notifications and select all so that you don't miss any video from this channel.